A sacred space of peace, prayer, and harmony, shaken by bullets. In the heart of Spanish Fork in Utah, in the US, the Sri Sri Radha Krishna temple, a landmark of devotion and culture for over 2 decades, has come under a brazen attack. Temple officials have revealed that 20 to 30 bullets were fired at the temple building and surrounding property in what they're calling a hate crime and an act of domestic terrorism. No one was physically harmed, but devotees were inside the temple at the time of the shootings. The costly hand-carved arches and walls have suffered damage, with officials fearing more structural harm still to be assessed. Authorities in Utah have begun an investigation, but members of the Hindu community are calling this out for what it is: a deliberate act of religious persecution. This isn't just about one temple. It's about the growing pattern of targeted hate against minority communities, even in places where faith and cultural harmony once thrived peacefully. The temple's founders say this has left the community shaken but united, demanding answers, action, and accountability. Now we have our senior executive editor Aditya Rajkot joining us live from the newsroom with the latest. Aditya, talk to us. What's the latest that you're able to understand? Who could have been behind these attacks?
Well, yet another hate crime being reported from United States, this time around ISKCON Krishna Hindu temple, where in fact 30 to 40 bullets were fired. There are pictures now coming on the screens clearly indicating a hate crime of religious persecution that's been reported from the United States. Now, this is the country which comes out with an annual religious freedom report asking for questions on the state of the minorities in India and several other countries across the globe. But what about the people from different faiths, especially the Hindus and Jews, who have come under regular attack under the Trump administration in the United States? This time around, it's the ISKCON Govinda Hindu temple that has come under attack. There is CCTV evidence of a car at midnight coming in and then firing 30 to 40 bullets. In fact, not just one incident, but multiple incidents have been reported. These pictures clearly signifying the intensity and the gravity of the situation. There is a fear psychosis that has developed in the Hindu community of Hindu Americans in that particular area. But clearly, there hasn't been any action with the local law enforcement unable to make any significant arrests or really point out who could be behind this kind of a hate crime. So as of now, investigations are underway, and it's likely that the Indian government could also issue a statement highlighting their concern on what has happened in Utah in United States.
Right, it's a fair point that you make, Aditya. It's a country that sort of prides itself and, in fact, sits in the on its high horse when it comes to questioning other countries' religious freedom. A similar incident like this on a church in India would have raised serious eyebrows in the US, and we wouldn't have gotten to the end of that. But here we have a situation in Utah, and this is a temple that is not. This is not even the first attack on this temple, and that means that this has been allowed to carry on for a long time now.
That's right, Krishna. In the past as well, multiple such attacks have happened, and there hasn't been any significant precedent that's been set in terms of the local law enforcement or the government really taking a strong action that actually sets a precedent. In this particular case, you could in fact also highlight the fact that both in the United States as well as in Canada, different churches, different synagogues and Hindu temples have continuously come under attack over the last many months, and there hasn't been any significant action either at the local level by the law enforcement, the police, or at the state level or the national level by the administration or the national investigative agencies. Obviously, there's a large chunk of Hindu diaspora, Indian diaspora, that are regular worshippers in such temples. And if these attacks really continue, what would be the state of mind and the fear psychosis that is really built in the diaspora is anybody's guess. So there is much more that the Trump administration and the local government and the local enforcement needs to do to reassure people that they are safe, and of course take significant strong action against the perpetrators and reveal to the public who is really behind them. Instead of preaching to the world on how democracy functions or how religious freedom needs to be there, it's the United States that needs to look into its backyard
Right.
and safeguard its citizens, especially the minorities, including Hindus, Jews, and several other religious places as well.
Aditya Rajkol, our Senior Executive Editor there, joining us with that big story that we're tracking. Thank you, Aditya.